All right, you can see here we've been busily knitting away. We've worked through all 4 colors of our blanket. You can see we've moved on to the cream, light blue, and now we're on to the darker teal here. I've come to my 62 garter ridges here, so my last stripe here measures 15 inches, and that means that we're getting ready to bind it off. Now, all binding it off means is you're finishing off your stitches in a way where they come off your needle, but they're not going to undo at all. So they're nice and secure and they're finished, and it mimics your cast on edge. So what we're going to do is you start like you would any other row, and you're going to knit 2 stitches. So I'm kind of going to shift all my stitches around so I can get to these here. So again, it just begins like any other row. And at your bind off edge here, I know that you've been slipping your first stitch, but on your bind off, just go ahead, ignore that, and knit it like you would your very first row. So I'm gonna knit 1 stitch, I'm gonna knit another stitch, so I have 2 stitches now on my right hand needle. What you're gonna do next is take the tip of your left needle here. You're gonna use it to lift up that very first stitch that's on the right, and you're gonna slide it over the tip of your right needle. And now you can see I'm back to 1 stitch on my right needle. I'm gonna go ahead, knit 1 more stitch. Now I have 2 again, and I'm gonna repeat passing over that stitch, just like I just did. So I'm going to take my left needle, pass that right hand stitch over the left. So you're kind of just going to be repeating that. You're going to be adding in a new stitch. So I'm going to knit 1 more. You want to get back to the 2 stitches, and then you take 1 off. You add another one in, and then you take 1 off. And as you can see, you're slowly binding off your stitches. So this little section of my first 3 stitches, they're interlocked here and off of my needles. So I'll work a few more just so you can see what I'm talking about. And you just do this across the entire row. And then you lift it over. I have 1, I'm gonna knit 1 more. So you're kind of just bouncing back between those 2 steps. You knit 1, and then you pass 1 over. You knit 1, and then you pass it over. So you can see after, the first few inches, you're getting a nice even edge here along the top. It's nice and stretchy, and they're not on your needle anymore. So that's how you finish your knitting. It's nice and, versatile. There are different bind offs, I'm sure, as you continue your knitting. You'll find all kinds of different options for anything, but this is the most basic bind off, and it works beautifully for a range of things. So I'm just gonna keep working across my row like this, binding off. And when I get to the other end, I'll show you the very last step to binding off.